Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to TSUKIHIME. We're currently getting the bad endings that I missed in the Arcuid route, and we've gotten the first and the third. The second one I got naturally. So we didn't make a whole lot of progress in the last episode, but I feel like we'll do a little bit better here. We'll get 4, 5, and 6 here because here on day 5, they're right there, as well as bad ending number 3, which was actually really interesting. That was a really interesting one. So we'll load back in here, and we'll, let's see. We'll want to do this choice. And I was able to enable this setting here. I was advised to by the comments. Hopefully I remember which comment it was so I can give proper credit. Now I can skip scenes very similar to what I'm used to in the, in Fate. Which is perfect. This is exactly what I need. We just got to get to wherever the next choice is. Okay, here we go. So, we want to descend. If we descend instead of scoping things out, we will get a bad ending. So now we're in the Vlov fight. And I remembered this one. I somehow tiptoed my ass around a lot of potential for bad endings here, I feel. So, we'll dive right into them now. I can't back down knowing exactly where our enemy is. And it's not just Vlov down there. Arcuid is there too, fighting him at this very moment. I promised I'd fight at her side. It'll be alright. After all, it's not my job to fight this battle. I just need to deliver the finishing blow. Once she's got him pinned down, I'll get in and cut through his lines. But in order to do that... Here we go. I skid down the rubble slope until I hit the ground at the bottom of the crater. I quickly cover my nose and mouth with my hand. It was pure reflex, a survival instinct that triggered in response to the searing atmosphere around me. I can't breathe. Sure, there's plenty of oxygen. I learned from our time at the hotel that these flames are some type of curse. They don't undergo combustion the way a real flame would. The problem is the heat. The air is so hot that taking a normal breath would roast my lungs to a crisp. Both vampires are before me, a perfect contrast, one clad in white and the other in his black cloak. Claw and Cleaver meet time and time again. Despite the heat, Arcuid doesn't break a sweat as she continues to press back against Vlov. To me, it looks like Arcuid has the upper hand. It won't be long now until she manages to restrain him. There's just one problem. That is how long I'll last. See, we were too early to jump down here. Ignore that. Since my body is already ablaze. Strangely enough, I don't feel any pain. Even without breathing, I've got a grasp of the situation. I grip my knife tight, waiting for the moment that I can take down Vlov. Like a sprinter waiting for his signal, or an unmoving specter. I wait, and wait, and wait. My eyeballs dry, sizzle, smoke, and turn to ashes, but I still wait. The moment never comes. And neither does the realization that I've long since burned to ashes. That's probably, like, the way to go, honestly. Very painless. This was, like, the quickest bad ending. Yeah, this has to be the quickest bad ending I've ever gotten so far in this. Which I'm fine with. I'm fine with both, actually. I like the lead-ups. It does make you think that, like, okay, you're okay, you know? Like, we'll get out of this mess, and... nope, that never happens. Alright, see what Shield's got for us here. And Neko Arc.
おっとデッドエンドそこの遠野くんスピード違反で歩道ですなんで嬉しそうなんだよこのシエルバーベキューになってる主人公もいるんですよ
Yeah, that did happen.
失礼
いよいよ本格的なバトルが始まったので、つい興奮してしまって。
It was actually really exciting. In comparison to what we saw at the end against Roa, like, this was a much cooler fight, and I think, like, it had a more satisfying conclusion. Maybe? I don't know. They're both different.
案内役のシエル教官こと私と部外者の猫でお届けする Q&A コーナー。教えて、シエル先生にようこそ。プレイによってはここが初めてのデッドエンドかもしれません。それくらいなんていうか自然に選んでしまいますから。
Well, jokes on you, actually. This was not my first bad ending, but I really could have avoided like 6 or 7 bad ends if I just wasn't as cautious as I was in order to get bad ending number 2. I somehow really did tiptoe my way around a lot of the bad endings here.
よく状況を確かめましょう。人間は炎の中では生きられないのです。
Yeah, that's pretty true.
猫的にこのデッドエンドは評価するけどにゃ。だって目の前で絶世の美女が戦ってるんだぜ。一体誰が冷静になれようか。ここで一句。家中の栗がピクニック。ウェルカムウェルカムウェルダン。どうですかな。むやみに食欲をそそりますかな、マドモアゼ。
It didn't do a whole lot for me, that's for sure.
いえ、全然意味がわからないので。まあ、お肉は片焼き派ですけど。
あれ、そうにゃの？ちょっと意外。フランス人なのに血の滴るステーキはダメ？
ビーフカレーのお肉は柔らかいものが至高ですが、生焼けはちょっと生理的に。
I mean, yeah, I can agree that there's like a time and a place for, you know, how cooked meats should be. You know, what dish it's accompanying, or literally what is it in, or if it's by itself, or what it is
と
specifically.
いうか、池作りを好むのは多分秋葉さんではないでしょうか。ほら、日本の方って生きた魚を調理して刺身にするんでしょ。信じられないことに。
バッカ、魚は新鮮なほどめっつの。嘘だと思うにゃら今度回らない寿司おごられてやんよ。カレーとかお好きでしょ、オタク。
それは私も毎日同じメニューを食べているわけではありませんし、たまにはシーフードもありですね。
完全に食い違っている。まあいや、続けて。夕食はその後にな。
Yeah, we really did stray off the course here.
そうですね。今は授業の最中でした。とにかく吸血鬼同士の戦いは危険ですので、遠くから冷静に見届けましょう。大丈夫、遠野くんの出番はきっとあります。その時まで体力を温存しておいてくださいね。はい、お仕事おしまい。ではメシアに直行です。シーフードカレーという選択。
Okay.
ほらに。
Yeah, they kind of lost me a little bit there, but that's okay. That's all right. No worries. I didn't save the game back there, did I? I didn't. I fucked that one up. I don't know if continuing will actually get me to where I want to be either. Where does this put me? Does it put me at the choice? No, it just puts me back here. Okay, well, no worries. We'll just fast forward ahead and we'll get to where we need to be. Okay, that didn't take long. See, it is so much nicer being able to skip like this. Okay, so let's see. What do I need to do here? So if we... Actually, it doesn't matter what we do on this choice, it seems. We can either continue to watch the fight or we can call out. Let's call out. I guess that's what we did last time. Okay, the crazy flashy fight continues. I have these prompts. I know you can like take off the prompts, but like, you know, I want them there. I want to make sure I'm not accidentally like, you know, gonna skip or I'm not skipping too far. And also I want to know where I'm at. So just, you know, a little me thing there. Okay. So the good choice here is to, actually, what is it? Let's see. If we throw, then we will get bad ending 5. And if we pull, we get bad ending 6. So I really could have gotten a bad ending here easily. And I decided taking flight was the right choice. Throwing, or more accurately, turning me into a human cannonball. The vampire may be on guard now, but I still remain an all too deadly weapon to him. And that just leaves the question of how I'll launch myself in his direction. A question with a simple answer: if my legs won't carry me there, I'll just need to depend on some outside help. I quickly run for Arcuid.
Shiki!
I hear the sharp noise of ice shattering behind me. It seems the claws of wind she generates can pinpoint targets even from this far.
もうなんでこっちに来たの？標的が一つになっちゃうじゃない。
Grouping up together like this makes us easy game for Vlov. I'm well aware of this fact.
分かってる。でもこれしかない。今瓦礫をぶん投げただろ。それ俺にもやってくれ。
はあ？
To be precise, I want her to throw me with that. That chunk of rock that she threw earlier must have been nearly 3 meters across. If she could do the same with me on it, then that would be way faster than I could run.
言いたいことは大体分かったけど、それ途中で振り落とされない？
普通ならな。でも縛るものならいくらでも出せるだろ。お前。
そりゃ出せるけど。
So this is only a part of like the successful plan, it seems. So with us not doing the other part of the plan, this is what will lead us to death. Though Arcuid hesitates, this is our only option. I'll have her tie me to a piece of rubble big enough to hide behind and throw me towards Vlov. Of course, he'll strike down whatever is thrown his way, which is why Arcuid will hurl 3 boulders. The first one will fly straight for Vlov. The next will deliberately miss Vlov and aim for his rear. And the last one will target Vlov once more. Naturally, I'll be hiding behind the second, the one that'll skirt around him. Then, just before it hits the ground, I'll cut through the lines on its surface and appear behind Vlov in under 2 seconds flat.
本当にそれでいいの？
So again, it is very similar to how we successfully went about this.
タイミング逃したら衝突したよ。
逃したらな。うまくいけば無傷で殺せる。唯一。
The icicles only grow in number and ferocity. We don't have any more time to waste.
分かった。ブローブを狙いながら四季の乗った瓦礫だけ外すのね。
ああ、あいつの横を通り過ぎるくらいでいい。
I get behind Arcuid. There, I find a nice large piece of debris to hide behind. I press my hands and feet against the rock as if I were doing a push-up. Green ivy forms from Arcuid's fingertips, tying me down against the stone. The vines wrap around my thighs, and soon both my legs and my left hand are pinned to the stone. The only limb with a measure of freedom is my right hand, which is holding the knife.
ブローブまで50メートル。さっきのがあんな感じだったから。
Arcuid extends both hands, lifting both the regular rubble and the rock that I'm hiding behind into the air.
うん。4秒我慢して。
The stones flying through the air must weigh at least a ton. 3 more seconds. As if stubbornly defying all laws of air resistance, the first piece soars directly for Vlov's head. Just before it can find its target, the rock is caught by Vlov's lance and splintered into pieces. But that's not to say it was completely ineffective. Some of the shattered fragments managed to hit Vlov's body. The damage they cause might not be significant, but it'll be enough to briefly draw his attention. Capitalizing on the moment, my rock sails past his right side. I dismantle the rock. It immediately becomes inert, ignoring all laws of momentum. My limbs are free to move now. They find purchase on land as I stick to the ground like a lizard does a wall. In that instant, both my body and my blood begin to freeze. I can see his back now. Just 4 meters, It'll be tight, but not impossible. Vlov shatters Arcuid's third boulder. 1 second down, 1 meter to go. Just 2 more steps and I'll be within stabbing range of the lines that will end his life. But it's impossible for a human to take those final 2 steps. I can't scream, nor can I feel any pain. I'm frozen from head to toe. Did he realize I was coming, or was it simply out of reflex? Countless thorns of ice spring up around Vlov to intercept my advance. And that's why the flying approach... The flying approach seems to work better because, I mean, his surroundings are basically like, it's too much. But the air, a little better. He sounds disappointed. Safe. Right, safe. I was too concerned over finding a way to stay alive. Arcuid was worried about my safety, and because of that, she threw my rock just a little bit slower than the other 2. I'm such an idiot. I really fucked up. You can't even call it a surprise attack when it's so transparent. Luckily, I don't have to wait to bleed to death. Between Vlov's cowl of cold and my own bitter disappointment, my heart was already stopped, or has already stopped beating. Alrighty. Man, we're plowing through these now. Yeehaw. But it is interesting to just see how many opportunities could lead you to death here with this one fight. It's beautiful, and I love it. Because it was a crazy fight, it really was. Alright, what will be discussed this time?
どこにしまったかにゃ。必要なのは何だったかにゃ。いつかどこかでポチったんだけどにゃ。間違えて3つくらい同じの買ったんだけどにゃ。まあいいや。いらないものは全部バイにゃ。捨てろ捨てろ。
Okay, what is she looking for? Oh, okay.
ついでに主人公人形もパイ。ルフィ、決まってきた。
待って待って、それを捨てるなんてとんでもない。
え？あ、やべ。
まあ幸いぬいぐるみのようですので問題はないかと。
Yeah, nobody even believes in voodoo dolls. Let's be real.
そうかにゃ。何やら運命を感じさせるシンクロニシティ。これはもしや主人公はかっこよく射出されて飛び散るという暗示なのでは？
まさか。いくら遠野くんでもそんな無謀な作戦は立ててますね。大胆というか命知らずというか。
A bit of mix, I'd say a mix of both, yeah.
なっちまえばいいんだよ、ミサイルに。その息は良かったんだけどにゃ。
I'm curious to see how the other direction will
縦軸と
go.
横軸の問題をクリアできなかったのが敗因ですかな。
ここの3択は全て無理めなプランですから難易度自体はどれも大差ないかもですね。すぐに直前の選択肢に戻ってもう一度これはと思う手段をお選びください。ブローブ戦もいよいよクライマックス。戦いは常に頭上を取るものですよ。
Now we got this. We got this. And I saved the game where I needed to as well, so we'll be good there. But let's see how the other direction goes. I'm kind of curious about that one. Pulling him in? Like, how's that gonna work? All right, let's do it. Pulling. It's our only option. And quite a brilliant one if I do say so myself. Oh, you're setting yourself up for failure on this. If he won't let us get close to him, we'll just have to bring him to us. It's not something I could pull off by myself, but as long as Arcuid still has enough power, we can do this. I quickly run for Arcuid. Yeah, we've kind of already seen this bit. I hear the sharp noise of ice shattering behind me. It seems that the wind pressure she generates with her claws is accurate even at a longer distance. Why are you saying it different, though?
どうしてこっちに来ちゃったの、シキ？なんかすごく得意げな顔してるけど。
説明は後だ。いいからあれやってくれ。 さっきブローブを捕まえたツタ。
We're too short on time. I shouted her while gesturing that I want her to capture him again.
この距離で危ない危ない。
投げ縄の要領でなんとか。
はあ、もうよくわかんないけど捕まえればいいのね。
Arcuid might not have understood fully, but perhaps she sensed the desperation in my voice. She shoots her hands towards Vlov.
さすがすごいなアルクエイド。
でもこれからどうするの？
We pull.
もちろん全力で引っ張ってくれ。
全力ってこんな感じ？
I assume that if Arcuid could throw rubble with such velocity, well, she should be able to reel in Vlov just as fast. A lot faster than I can run at any rate. The only question is how well Vlov will be able to resist the pull. And there's no way he'd be willing to concede the distance between us. He's sure to resist Arcuid's pull every step of the way. It's a tug of war between two vampires. The weaker one will be drawn to the other's side. Then, the black, cloaked figure standing 50 meters away vanishes, reappearing right in front of me faster than I could possibly react. There is no safe zone left. It wasn't that Vlov didn't want to approach us, he just didn't have the energy to do so. And here we've given him the tailwind he needed. Beautiful. A massive object pierces through my chest. I cough up my final breath.
狩りの基本も知らないのか。縄をかけるのは獲物を仕留めた後だろう。
The hunter sounds gravely disappointed. What a disgrace. I didn't even get a chance to do anything. I just jumped on the first bird-brained scheme I managed to hatch. Damn it. What a fitting end for an idiot no smarter than a stray mutt. It's a good way of putting it, yeah. God damn. That was a quick one. See, at least the other one, like, it was a good first step for how things should have gone, because the idea was there, and it was a good idea. But we just needed, like, one other step to it. This one kind of just abandoned all that shit and just brought him to us so he can kill us. Lovely.
OS、OS、OS と。O と S のボタンを打ち続けて早20時間。こんだけ打っておけば何らかのアプリも完成すんだろ。
Yeah, that's actually how it goes.
仕事明けのコーヒーはたまらん。雰囲気だけで仕事をこなしときさえする。
Yeah, especially when you haven't gotten anything done.
さて、今朝のデッドエンドはほほう、敵との正面衝突ですか。
That is a very, very rough newspaper. God damn.
メガネ君はあれかな？異世界転生でもしたいのかな？
あの手でどうやって PC のキーボードを？そうですね。自分からダンプカーを引き寄せたようなものなので、不注意による事故と言えなくもありません。ですが、それも一緒にいる吸血鬼の悪影響かと。ほら、隣にあんなショベルカーみたいなユニットがあるなら使ってみたくなるのが人情と言えるので。
どんな人情なんだよ。あとユニット言うな。ヒロインな、ヒロイン。
Well, a very strong one at that, yes.
似たようなものでしょう。実際できたわけですし。まったく、結果を考えずノリで言いなりになるとはあなたらしくない。
No, she was happy to just, do what she was told to do.
ダメージを受けてめまいでも起こしてたんですか？
にゃ、単に式に頼られて嬉しかっただけじゃにゃい。
なるほど。馬に蹴られて死んでください。
Wow. Oh my god.
これは遠野くんに半分、アルクエイドに半分。
No, it's all on Shiki. It's all on
クライマ
him.
ックスは目前です。次はアルクエイドと最大限離れるような決着手段を選んでみましょう。
同じ立場ならシエルもやってたと思うけどにゃ。
嫌ですね。やりませんよ。そんな筋力ありませんから。
Okay, there we go. So now we have a little bit of a gap before we get to our next bad ending, it seems. Days 6, 7, and most of 8 seem to not have any bad endings. So if we take a look at our gallery here, so bad ending 7 is what we need, then 9, then 11, and there's 12 total, right? Let me check this lovely guide here. No. There are not. There are only 11, so there's only 3 more bad endings for us to get. There we go. But, of course, I'm also looking for, like, you know, what differences are there that I can make compared to our first go-around through the story here? If I remember what choices I did originally make, that is. So we'll load back in, and we'll just get to skipping and see where we end up. Okay, here we go. I think I apologized properly before. I think that's what we did, because we were apologizing to Akiha for, like, not being at home for a bit. You know what? Let's see what happens if we try to tell the truth. I should just tell her the truth. I don't want to lie to Akiha, and some half-hearted attempt to dodge the question isn't going to work on her anyway. If I speak the whole truth and nothing but the truth, down to the teeniest details, I'm sure Akiha will understand. I may be desperate, but I'm not crazy.
Yosh. Ikuzo.
If I'm going to survive this, I'll have to be brave. I breathe deep and open the door to the parlor. This can only go well, guys.
兄さん、不思議とずいぶん久しぶりな気が。
や、おはよう、Akiha.
I sit down across from Akiha and counter her angry stare with a smile so bright you would need SPF 50 to block it. My heel is still hurting something fierce, but I grin my way through.
部屋では言いそびれちゃったけど、翡翠もおはよう。さっきはありがとう。これからも頼りにするよ。
I express my gratitude to Hisui, who's standing against the wall. I didn't realize my decision to be honest would also make me this genial with my morning greetings. I'll have to remember that.
ずいぶんとご機嫌のようですね。てっきりここ数日の素行の悪さを反省し、萎縮していらっしゃると思ったのですが。
もちろん反省はしている。自覚あるからね。けどそれと上機嫌なのは別の話。単に朝から秋葉の顔を見られて嬉しいだけだよ。
You know, choosing this option wasn't really like having me expect that he was going to act this way. I understand why he is, you know, I get where the happiness is coming from. But I would have expected a little bit more of like the apologetic tone and then just being honest. Akiha is still, or is as still as a statue. Crap, did I make her angry? Huh, I guess there is such a thing as being too honest. I'll have to remember that too.
Akiha様。なんでもないわ、翡翠。ですが、今のはいい声かけでした。
Akiha coughs lightly and manages to regain her usual demeanor.
兄さん、言っておきますが、そんな気持ちのこもった言葉ではごまかされません。
I think they are sincere.
こもってるんだ。
こもっていない言葉ではごまかされません。私が聞きたいのは、ここ2日間どこで何をなさっていたのかという報告です。
それなんだけど、Akiha。
ええ。どんな言い訳をしてくださるのかしら、
So,
兄さん。
with our knowledge of, you know, Akiha, and I would assume Hisui and, oh shoot, I forgot her name, I feel bad. I feel like they all understand that there's a world behind the scenes, if you will, or a behind the curtain type of deal here that we have, because of the craziness that goes on in this family.
話すと長いから簡潔に説明する。俺はこの2日間、吸血鬼を退治していたんだ。宗谷で 連続殺人が起きているのは知ってるだろう。その犯人が吸血鬼だったんだけど、偶然知り合ったいい吸血鬼に助けられてさ。
I am so excited for the reaction to this.
そのままなし崩しでそいつに協力して悪い吸血鬼と戦ったんだよ。
Akiha is perfectly frozen in place. An understandable reaction. I can already imagine how this will go a few seconds from now.
バカにしてるんですか兄さんは。
I can already hear her yelling at me. But how else can I describe what's been happening? Though it's unfortunate I can't expect her to swallow such a wild story, I'm sure she'll accuse me of making up ridiculous excuses. Is she not going to say something? She certainly looks angry enough, so what's with the silence?
もしもし、アキハ。
兄さん、今のはタチの悪い冗談ですか？
Oh, that's a worse response than what he was predicting. Akiha's cold, silent gaze pierces right through me.
いや、冗談じゃなくて。
冗談でしょ？
まあ、そう取られても仕方がないけど。
It's hard to stay firm when she's this insistent.
結構です。ですが、今後は冗談だとしても、そのような妄言は口にしないでください。どこに親族の聞き耳があるとも限りません。当の式は、遠野家の長男にはふさわしくないという風説なんて、私は聞きたくありませんので。
Though Akiha is definitely angry, she doesn't seem to have lost faith in me. Her gaze may be cold as ice, but she's actually being considerate of my position. I'm pretty sure she's genuinely concerned in her own rigid way.
ごめん、今のは忘れてくれ。俺も悪ふざけが過ぎた。
いいでしょう。この件に関して、
Okay,
これ以上の追及はいたしません。
that's what I was looking for. If she was going to ask if like, okay, well, what's the actual story? But no, she's letting it go. And I think it's because she understands that this did happen. This was something that happened, but she's refusing to acknowledge it.
連絡をいただけなかった点については、私にも落ち度がありますから。
All right, well, there we have it. Wait, what? What's going on here?
携帯電話を取り上げたのは私です。あれがあれば、ズボラな兄さんでも連絡ぐらいはしたのではありませんか？
Yeah, we've already gone through all this. What the fuck? Did I not press the thing that lets me skip? Did I accidentally press no like an idiot or something? It's possible. Okay. I'm actually looking forward to this. Kohaku, that's her name. Sorry, Kohaku, I forgot your name. We're gonna go with Kohaku. I don't like the other character. She's a little bit too much for me. I'll have Kohaku look after me. I should be fine with a compress and some painkillers.
わかりました。
Well, yeah, now we know that it wasn't
食
anything
後は自
serious.
室で待機しているように。
Or it shouldn't end up being anything serious.
私は午後から外せない会食があるので外出しますが、当主が留守だからといって、あまり羽目を外さないようお願いしますね。
I'm not sure why, but Akiha seems to be smiling with relief. Well then, I'll grab breakfast and have my leg looked at afterwards. Honestly, I'm looking forward to spending more time with Kohaku. Really, the twins, like, or the maids, like...
お待たせしました。
Okay, I hope I don't regret anything, but no, they do seem like more enjoyable characters than what we've been given through the professor. Kohaku barges in carrying a retro-looking wooden box.
悪いね、琥珀さん。忙しい中、わざわざ来てもらって。
いえいえ、今日は休日ですから、お仕事も少なめですので、お気に四季さんのご指名ですもの。私などでよろしければ、いつでもご奉仕させていただきます。
Yep, you were my first choice. Definitely no one else. Kohaku approaches my bed with a radiant smile.
ではでは、診察のお時間です。ベッドに腰をかけてください。お加減が悪いのは主に。なるほど。左足だけではなく、下半身全体ですね。
見ただけでわかるんですか？
それぐらいは。免許こそ取れませんが、薬剤師と整体師になれるよう子供の頃から鍛えられているんです。
Man, we really should have gone with her, like, over the professor. I mean, come on, this is way better already. Pharmacology and physical therapy. So that's what Akiha meant when she said Kohaku knows internal medicine. I sit on the bed and roll up my pants so she can see my left leg. Kohaku gingerly palpitates the leg with her hand? That's not what that word is. Palpates the leg with her hand? Okay. I guess that's what that is. Two different words. Every time her fingers touch my shin, I'm hit with the urge to cry out in pain. After a few moments, Kohaku looks at me hesitantly.
シキさん、もしかして骨にひび入ってませんか？
Yes, very likely. So that's what it was. I'm actually kinda glad it's just a fracture. I wouldn't have been surprised if she told me it was straight up broken in places. If it
そ
was,
うかもしれません。
man, he would not be
でも
moving.
ちょっとだけですよ、きっと。こうして我慢できる程度なんですから。
アキハ様のお気持ちがちょっとだけ分かっちゃいました。シキさんは平気なお顔をしていても、いえ、している時の方が大変な方なんですね。しばらくお待ちください。秘蔵の軟膏などを持ってきますので。それまでベッドから動いちゃダメですよ。
Her private stash, huh? The pitter-patter of her footsteps fades as she runs off down the hallway. Left all alone, I start to feel strangely guilty. I don't think I've ever heard Kohaku sound so sad. I mean, we haven't really spent too much time with her, really, throughout the story, so... I don't know. There's a lot to learn, a lot to pick up through these characters. Kohaku's treatment is surprisingly professional. After applying the ointment, she taped my heel and even gave me a cast for my shin.
いや、そこまで大げさにしなくても。
そこまでのことです。ご自分のお体を何だと思ってるんですか？
Yes.
そもそもこんな怪我をどこ
Main
でこ
character
しらえたんです？
protection, you know?
シキさんの健康を任されたものとしてこれは見過ごせません。
いや、それはですね。
シキさん、正直におっしゃってください。
We tried to earlier.
その喧嘩みたいなものです。興奮して殴り合ったというか。
It's a weak excuse despite being the truth, but I can't tell her any more than this. But I also can't brush her off like nothing happened. That wouldn't be right.
喧嘩ですか？もうダメですよ、そんなこと。わんぱくなのはいいと思いますけど、暴力はいけません。手を挙げられた方も手を挙げてしまった方も痛いだけじゃないですか。
I guess there's no such thing as a winner when that happens. Kohaku's words strike a strangely powerful chord.
それはそうだな。痛いだけだよな。殴り合いなんてさ。
でしょ？なのにこんな怪我までしてがっかりです。どんな事情があったにせよ、そんなことをしているとシキさんを見損なっちゃいますからね。
ああ、俺もバカだったって反省中です。二度とこんなことにならないよう努力します。
はい、分かってくださったのなら結構です。それでは上の具合も見ますから服を脱いでくださいね。
はい。
Uh-oh. Without a hint of hesitation, Kohaku stands up and grabs my shirt. She wants me to get naked right here and now. That much is obvious.
ちょっと待った。そこまでしなくていいです。痛いのは足だけだから。
何言ってるんです。両足もひどいですが、より厄介なのは肩や腰回りだと断言します。ほら。
あ、痛っ。何？今のツボですか？っていうか、この悪辣な腕の取り方、もしかして小悪さんに生態を教えたのって次男委員のジジイでは？
I'm not sure if this is referencing something or if I'm missing something. Or both.
次男先生にはしっかりとシキさんのお体
Oh,
に
is
つい
that
て
the
教え
professor?
ていただきましたとも。あと悪辣ではありません。
Oh
巧みな
no.
指使いと言ってくださいね。
Well, I guess we're getting both of, we're getting the best of both worlds, I guess you could say. At least for the medical side. Kawaku pinned me face down against the bed sheets like it was nothing. Dr. Jinan was a traditional doctor I used to see when I lived with the Arimas. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Totally different person. I can't remember names. I owe him a lot, but right now I'd love nothing more than to pay him back for all this crap.
いや、それはともかく炎症なら自分で湿布とか貼るから裸になる必要とかないってば。
ははー、照れてるんですね、四季さん。
Kawaku smiles contentedly as she continues to pull my shirt off.
四季さんのお体なんて見慣れてます。いいから観念してくださいまし。
Well, yeah, I'm actually not surprised by that because there was, the incident with Arcuid, and we were all bloody and muddy and whatever else.
昨夜もお着替えをさせていただきましたから、
And
背
that.
中のほくろの位置までバッチリです。
Now that she mentions it, I was totally wearing my pajamas when I woke up.
ほら、暴れないでください。せっかく固定した足のギプスがずれてしまいます。
She's right, but that doesn't make it any easier to get naked in front of her.
では仕方ありませんね。私が見るのは背中だけにいたしましょう。それなら恥ずかしいことはないでしょう。
It kind of is, but it's still better than the alternative. And if I want to stick a compress there, I'd need to ask for someone's help regardless.
そうだね。
I give in to her persistence and release the tension in my body.
念のため消毒もしておきましょう。喧嘩をなされたのなら小さな傷を負っているかもしれませんし。
I am enjoying this scene a lot better now that, Kawaku is here though. The disinfectant stings my skin. It was a busy 2 days. I must be covered in little cuts. Although it stings, it's nothing compared to the dizziness that comes with my anemia. It also doesn't hurt that each time she applies the ointment, she coos at me.
男の子なんですね。
Yeah, I don't think we need all that. Even with the teasing, it was easier to bear the pain. I guess Kawaku's cheerfulness can't help but rub off on me too. Kawaku wraps up her treatment. The past hour felt a lot more by the book than I'd expected. Kawaku really is something.
ありがとう、琥珀さん。左足も痛まなくなったし、これなら午後もゆっくりできます。
Good to know that we were, safe on all ends here. Either choice we could have gone with.
どういたしまして。
And I know that there's a choice coming up later as well for, basically a similar reason to this. We'll also have to bring in Kawaku again there.
それではお仕事に戻らせていただきます。痛みが引かない、あるいは悪化したらすぐにお声をかけてくださいね。午後は厨房で夕食の仕込みをしていますので。
Kawaku flashes a smile before leaving the room. Now then, how should I spend the rest of the day? We get a choice in the matter there too, right? I can't remember. Or do we get to just skip along? It looks like we just get to skip along. Perfect. Oh, here we go. We can... Oh my god, we can try to go to town if we want to. We can take a look around the mansion, or we can go to the garden. And I don't remember what I did previously. I want to say that we've done the garden. I think we did. I'm not interested in going to town, but we can check out the mansion. I'll take a look around the mansion. I doubt it's changed much in the last 7 years, but maybe I can discover something new now that I've grown older. I mean, there's no bad ending to get today, so I don't have to worry about whatever choice I make. There is a little bit too much exploring that we can do later on that will lead to a bad ending, though. Well then, after walking around the mansion for an hour, I've come to a conclusion.
立ち入り禁止の区画が多すぎない。
I grumble aloud despite being alone. Excuse me, the Tohno mansion is about as big as a hotel. And just like a hotel, it has lots of rooms most people aren't allowed to enter. The second floor of the east wing is especially outrageous. Not in a bad way, though. It just feels overwhelming. While most rooms were locked, that wasn't the case for the east wing's second floor. But whenever I thought to check it out, I'd start feeling dizzy, almost like the hallway itself was shifting beneath me.
許可なしで入ったら絶対に殺すという強い意志を感じる。
By her, I mean Akiha, of course. It may just be my paranoia, but I avoided the second floor of the East Wing entirely. I feared that if I entered, my social life would be over forever. Yeah, something like that.
それが正解だ。
Is it the bandaged up guy here?
おいそれと当主の生活空間に入るものじゃない。昔からここではそうだっただろう、四季君。
Yep, it's him. I jump, surprised at the voice that calls out to me from behind. Spinning around, I find him standing there.
屋敷の探索は終わったかね。私としては出戻った人間には自室でおとなしくしていてほしいのだが。
それはどうも。こっちもよく知らない人間にうちの周りを歩いてほしくないですけど。
Yeah, both have a little bit of a point. There's some serious stuff going on here, that's for sure. A lot of mystery surrounds this place.
私を知らないのは君だけなんだが。まあ、そこは流そう。お互い深く関わり合う立場じゃない。
He has a good warning here, though.
そうだな。私も気が緩んでいたらしい。君の後ろ姿から昔を思い出してね。
俺を見て昔を思い出したですか。
Does he mean...
なあ、牧久さんがまだ万全だった頃だ。ここ数年は部屋にこもりがちだったが、もともとは植物を愛する人でね。こうして屋敷の周りを歩いていた。牧久さんが植物に造詣が深かったことは私も少しはかじっていてね。二人でよくそこの植物園で語り合ったものさ。
植物園なんか厳重に施錠されてますけど。
入り口はね、裏口は簡単な鍵で開けられる。持っているのは琥珀状かな。ありがたいことに今でも最低限の世話をしてくれているようだ。
That's a surprise. Saiki addresses Kohaku as Miss. It's not at all how I expected him to talk about a servant.
あなたは琥珀さんと親しいんですか。
私があの使用人と
No, that dash is that. What an awful looking guy overall. His sarcastic scoff turns into full-blown laughter. I don't need to ask to know what he found so funny. He's laughing at me.
何かおかしなことを言いましたか。
いや、失敬。今のは私が悪いんだ。何しろ君に落ち度はない。私は琥珀城とはそう親しくはないよ。彼女と話すようになったのは秋葉が当主になってからだ。琥珀城は秋葉の秘書役でもある。必然会話の機会も増える。どちらかというと私は翡翠城と顔見知りだがね。
Another surprise. This weirdo and Hisui are acquainted. What does that even mean?
昔の話だよ。ここ数年は全く話をしていない。挨拶程度はするがね。さて、私も日差しを浴びすぎた。肌が痒くていけない。
As Goto's Saiki raises his hand, a car that was waiting in the parking area comes around to the entrance. I guess that means our conversation is over. An interesting conversation regardless.
ああ、本題を聞き忘れていた。どうかな？7年ぶりに屋敷を見た感想は。
特に驚きはないです。子供の頃の記憶合わせができたのは1回だけですし。
I answer the human mummy Goto Saiki's question.
なんだ。しかし、そうだな。過去から戻ってきたとしても、見違えるような現実なの。
Does he mean, like, returning from the past in, like, a sense of, like, we're, you know, returning from a life that we never necessarily had? Maybe? I don't know. Goto Saiki says his piece and leaves the Tohno mansion behind. He visits the mansion pretty often. Maybe he has a residence in Soya.
次はその辺りに切り込んでみるか。
It's obvious that he considers me an enemy, or at least an obstacle. Well, you know what they say, know thy enemy, right? And I should get some information on him as insurance. It's not a bad idea, actually.
ま、それはそれとして。
I don't want to end my day off like this. Collecting myself, I return to exploring the mansion. I think I'll try the garden next. So I guess we end up in the garden regardless then. Maybe? Or are things going to be a little different here? Because this seems very, very similar. Yeah, it is. Similar but different, it seems. But I guess because we entered like a different scene, now we have to skip. Okay, well, whatever. The day is almost over, and now it is over. No, I'll save it at our next choice here that we should be coming up on. I think day 8, like somewhere in the middle of day 8 or near the end of day 8 is when we have another choice that could lead us to, you know, death. Yeah, we're just going by the day here, and we'll save it there. We'll wrap it up on that note. I want to say that we'll be able to get the rest of the bad endings in the next episode. If there's anything else in terms of like choices that I should probably see that were locked until we finish this route, please let me know where they're at. Then we can jump into Chiel's route. Again, it's going to be next year. I don't know if I'd mentioned that previously, but I won't have the time since I've got other playthroughs on my plate. But next year we'll be jumping into that route. So we'll get all of this out of the way first, and then we'll for sure jump into that. But thank you all for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.